everyone. So if you're watching this video, perhaps, ignore the dog, perhaps you are looking into getting dental implants, perhaps you're in the process of getting dental implants, or it's just out of simple curiosity that you clicked on this video. I'm glad you're here regardless. So today in this video, I'm going to talk about my dental implant journey, my journey to get 10 implants from start to finish, and everybody's journey is going to look a little bit different, but I know when I was in the process of getting these, it really helped to have a perspective of what other people went through and what I could kind of expect to go through as well. And so if this video can be of any help to you, I hope it can be of help to you. And let's dive right into this very long journey. So I have 10 dental implants, and that's these front teeth here and these here, and they look like real teeth. Like just talking, you can't tell they're not real teeth. If you do look really closely, which I don't really feel like doing to the camera, but you can tell they're kind of screwed in up top. This is all porcelain, and then there's pink porcelain up top and on the bottom to kind of make the tooth not freakishly long. But I can tell you, I've had them for the final crowns for a week now, and they function like real teeth. They feel like real teeth. They bite good. They have given me my quality of life back. So that's kind of where my implants are. Beyond the 10 implants I have, I still have 9 natural teeth. Most on the top. I had 2 left on the bottom, and yeah, it's giving me my confidence back because I can smile. It's given me my quality of life back with eating and the shape of my face, and I'm very, very happy to be done with them. So those are my implants. I've got 10 of them, and I'll tell you how that happened. So back on October 13th, 2017, I went in to get what was supposed to be just my wisdom teeth removed. And to give you some insight, I also have cystic fibrosis, which means that I am vitamin deficient in a lot of things, but specifically relating to my teeth in calcium and vitamin D. I've always been deficient in it, and so that's going to really play a part into how I lost these teeth. So I went in to get my wisdom teeth removed and ended up getting almost every single tooth removed out of my mouth. They were going to repair some other teeth and put some crowns on some other teeth, but yeah, I lost all my front teeth because they were just beyond repair from the vitamin deficiency, and the 3 teeth that they had to cap, because I had 9 natural teeth left, were not easy. Things did not go as planned. So basically when I went into this surgery, I was thinking I'm gonna get 4 teeth removed, my 4 wisdom teeth. And then the dentist said he's gonna like do whatever he can for the other ones. He's gonna try to save them. So I was thinking positively, thinking, okay, my other teeth are gonna be saved. And that didn't end up happening. I mean, he did save 9, and I'm forever grateful for that because they really helped me out. But the interesting thing happened when they started to cap the 3 teeth. So I'm gonna play some footage because I am a daily vlogger. I'm gonna play some footage I took of that day, and then I will explain to you what happened. Things went south pretty quickly. Good morning, guys. We are on our way to the hospital, and the nerves are setting in again. Everything ready, like put my computer, my phone charger within easy reach of the couch. And I also did an hour on my treatment this morning. I usually do 30 minutes, but I decided to do an hour because I won't be able to do another treatment for 24 hours because of, you have to, you know, not to dislodge the clots from the wisdom teeth. Waiting, and I'm really nervous, and all that fun stuff. I don't know, just keeping it together the best I can, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.
Hello guys, this is Elizabeth's dad. There was some complications, so she's actually in the hospital. She will update you tomorrow of everything, so you guys have a good night.
So those complications that my dad speak of there, basically what happened is when he went to cap, I have I have one front tooth over here that's capped and both my bottom teeth are capped. Basically, we found out that day that I am deathly allergic to nickel. So that's great. Basically what happened is when everything was going fine, but when he went to cap these teeth to finish off the surgery, I went into anaphylactic shock and they had to intubate me. I was in the OR for 7 hours. They were breathing for me, and then I went into a recovery and ended up being in the hospital for 18 days. Barely, couldn't eat or drink for the first week, couldn't talk for the first week. My throat the next night, so I had the surgery on a Friday. That following Saturday, actually, it's kind of funny in hindsight, I don't really believe in that kind of stuff, but I had this very misfortunate surgery on Friday the 13th, so it's just funny looking back. But so basically the very next night I was having a lot of trouble breathing, and they had to, I really thought at that moment, that's when I felt, for the first time in my life, I was like, I'm gonna die. Like, I literally felt like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna die. I couldn't breathe. They had to give me epinephrine to breathe in, and I had like 6 nurses, and they took a little like suction thing and put it up my nose and like sucked out my airway, and obviously I didn't die, thank goodness, but that was a really scary time in my life, and I came really close to dying from the surgery because of that. I came really close to dying, or I wouldn't say close to dying, but I had a fear that I was gonna die the next night, and the following months were months of recovery. I will say that even to this very day, for one, I carry an EpiPen with me now, but two, I still will sometimes have flashbacks to those times in my life. I will have panic attacks and feel like my airway is closing, and it's just a part of me now. So that's kind of how this journey started. That's how I lost the teeth, simple enough, but it started with a bang, and I'm forever grateful that this journey could have ended before it even began. I could have died that day in 2017, and I did not, and I'm forever thankful for that. So that is that's the synopsis of it for the beginning of this. For the following year, it was figuring out what metals were safe for me, or 11 months, I guess I should say, because I got the implant surgery September 7th, 2018. So in that time span between, it was figuring out, I had to do a lot of allergy testing to figure out what metals I could use. That's how we found out that it was the nickel and the cobalt that are a no-go for me. And so we found out that I could use titanium. I didn't have any reaction to that, so that was great. So I was able to get the implants, because the implants were going to be made of titanium. So for those 11 months, it was completing a lot of dental work. It was getting the permanent caps on these teeth, which I remember being like a 4-hour process. It was not my idea of fun. It was like mid-December of 2017 when I got the final caps, or like, yeah, I think it was December, and it was not fun. And then after that time span between, I really didn't have any front teeth. I had tried out partials. They made partials, but I just couldn't tolerate them. I don't know, it was just something about me personally. The metal wrapping around my front teeth just hurt, and the ones on the bottom kept flipping up. So basically I was just like, screw this, I'm going without teeth. So for that time span in between losing the teeth and getting the first implant surgery was basically just a bunch of time figuring out metals, figuring out getting the permanent caps, and learning how to function and eat with the way my mouth now worked. And I will say it was a bit of a learning curve, but I picked up on it pretty fast. I could just chew. There's no two ways about that. I was like, I figured out a way I can chew, I figured out a way I could eat, and I could eat pretty much anything. I mean, things like gummy foods and steak and stuff like that obviously just was not going to happen, but for the most part I was able to function normally with what I had left. So the day finally came for the implant surgery. I think I'll say this in these clips I'm going to show after this, but we had planned this back in April of 2018, and the surgery day was finally September 7th of 2018. And ironically, the couple weeks or like 10 days before that, I had broken my ankle falling off a horse. So I had surgery a week before to put titanium screws in my ankle, and now I was going into surgery to get my dental implants. So I got 10 of them. I had 5 put up top and 5 put on bottom. Now I actually have 11 teeth. I forget which one is which. He said one has 6 on it and one has 5 on it. I think the bottom is 6. Anyway, but I had 10 implants put in. And so I'm gonna roll some footage that I took of that day. Good morning, guys. It is a little bit after 9 and I finished my treatment. And just basically, I was gonna say got dressed, but really I just put a jacket on over my shirt. Now I'm just waiting. We're gonna leave about 9:30. I'm a mixture of emotions. I'm excited and ready for this, because it's something that I've waited almost a year for. You know, everything that went down October 13th of last year, and it's September 7th. So I've waited almost a year for this, and I've known the scheduled date since April. So I'm like excited and ready for this, but I'm also terrified and nervous. And it's not so much terrified of the procedure itself or even the anesthesia, because I just had that a week ago. Actually a week ago at this time, I think I was in surgery. But it's the pain and the discomfort afterwards that I'm kind of dreading. There's a fountain down there, and just saw the anesthetist and the nurse, and now I'm just waiting to see the dentist.
Okay, there we go.
Hi guys.
She's miserable. The mouth muscles hurt. The jaw muscles hurt. She's got an ice pack on her face. She's had 2 doses of morphine.
Why is it beeping?
Just because it's set for a kid's level and you're not a kid. And she's not here to hit a button, and I don't know what button to hit, so. I know you're dizzy, but at least you're not nauseous. I should have really recorded her at the very beginning when she was really nonsensical. I can't open my eyes, and I can't feel my mouth, and why can't I feel my lips? She's making a little, she can add right now. She can do 5 plus 5. She's doing pretty good.
Yes, I can do math.
But she wanted the lights out, so that's why it's dark in here.
Can you see me?
No, you're invisible. They erased you during surgery. Yeah, first funny comment. I'm sure there'll be more to come, people.
Bye. So this, I'm not gonna lie or sugarcoat it, it was a pretty painful surgery. I would say until the numbing wore off, I was great. If you can tell, I was kind of delirious in recovery. But the next couple of days, my mouth did swell a little bit. It wasn't anything like unbearable. And I think it was made better due to the fact that I had just broken my ankle. And so I was comparing this to broken ankle pain, and it was so much better than that. But it hurt, but it wasn't. After the first like 2 days, it really wasn't bad. The thing that irritated me more than anything was the stitches in my mouth. Stitches, I can't talk. I'm still learning how to talk with teeth. But it really wasn't bad. It wasn't like the horrific, painful experience. It hurt. Like, it will hurt, but it wasn't like curl into the fetal position and cry for hours kind of pain. So the first day after the day of that night of the surgery, all I did was drink some liquids. I drank like an 8-ounce bottle of juice, and that was it. I was done. I didn't want anything else. I wasn't, and then the next day I was eating baby food and puddings and that kind of thing. And then after like, I think 2 days, I started eating mashed potatoes, just really gentle foods because my mouth was sore. I mean, they drill into your bone to put this stuff in. So, And I think it was like 3 or 4 days after I started eating macaroni and cheese, and then like a week, I think it was like 10 days or so, a week to 10 days after the surgery, I was pretty much back to my normal diet, no pain, no problems. So the first few days were really, really hard to recover from it, but after that, it was pretty much smooth sailing. It was like, okay, my mouth is fine, and now I've just got to wait for these implants to set. So I had to wait a couple of months for them to solidify into the bone and really heal before I could get the healing abutments, which was going to be the next step in the process. So I'm going to skip ahead to the healing abutments because basically those months in between were a bunch of boring, basically the same as the prior 11 months, just biding time and living life. So yeah. So those healing abutments were placed in February. They were placed February 27th, I believe, of 2019. Yeah, it was 27th. And I remember that date because the same day I finally got back in the saddle from my broken ankle. I broke my ankle, I've said this before, I broke my ankle from a fall off a horse. And so I finally got back in the saddle, and that same day I was going to get the healing abutments. So I had a riding lesson in the morning, and then I came back and I basically shoveled as much food into my mouth as I possibly could in this like hour-and-a-half time span between getting back from riding and going for the healing abutments. So I'm gonna play some tapes I took from that day. I took a shower, and now I'm downing as much food as I can before 12, because I probably am not going to want to eat the rest of the day. I'm also probably going to end my vlog when I come home today.
Just kind of waving at them.
No, I talked to them after my implant surgery because I was still numb. But yeah, just eating and hanging out, and not looking forward to an hour from now. So I'll see you guys in a little while.
Hello, this is Elizabeth's dad. Everything went well, but she's in a lot of pain, so she doesn't want to talk. So everybody have a good night, and she'll get back with you tomorrow or Friday. I meant Saturday. She'll get back with you on Saturday. Have a good night.
So this was honestly, to me, more painful than getting the implants themselves. And basically what happens when you get healing abutments is the implants, the way I had it done, the 10, they were under my gum line. They were like not exposed. And so they, gotta be honest here, they cut into your gums down to where the implant is, to where the bone is. They numb you, of course, first, but I think this was worse because for the implant surgery, I was under anesthesia and I wasn't really aware of what they were doing, but for the healing abutments, it's really not a good idea for me to be under anesthesia much because of my CF, so they just numbed me to high heavens and did it with me awake. And I don't really get that nervous at the dentist. This whole experience has been like, all right, well, if I'm nervous at the dentist, I gotta go anyway. So, but I was nervous, and I was just nervous at the pain, really, because I also burned through Novocaine like that. So they have to give me more Novocaine than most people because I just burned through it really fast. It's not just Novocaine, it's like any local anesthetic. I burned through it really fast. So they actually found this Novocaine, this local anesthetic, to use that lasts like 6 hours, and so I think that's the one he used for me. And they basically cut into the gums, exposed everything, and screwed in these titanium healing abutments and then stitched everything back up. So actually I think he stitched everything but 2 of them. I don't know why he didn't stitch 2 of them. I don't remember the reason. I do remember because those 2 weren't stitched, there was a reason, but I bled for like 24 hours straight because he didn't. But anyway, so they uncover them, screw in the titanium, and then stitch it back up. And then you have this little piece of titanium about yay big, not very big at all, coming out from the implant. And this is so that your gums can heal, and then the crown eventually will go where those healing abutments were, so that your gum is exposed and ready for it. So this recovery was pretty hard. The thing, I think it took like 4 hours to get everything done, and it was not pleasant. It was not one of my better days, but so that night I really didn't eat or drink anything because I was bleeding for quite a while because those 2 weren't stitched. The next day I was just eating like broth. For a couple of days after that, I was just eating like broth and baby food and kind of soft things. But then within a week, I also was able to go back to my normal diet. So it did take a bit of adjustment trying to eat with, the metal doesn't really get in the way because there was no teeth where the metal were, but just having a foreign object in your mouth that you haven't had kind of took some getting used to. So it took me a little bit to get used to it, but it really wasn't that terrible. And like I said, within a week, I was back to just feeling good and feeling like I had another step done in this process. So now we're gonna fast forward to July of 2019, and I pretty much have a vlog that explains what's going on here, so I'm gonna let it do the explaining. But I was getting my final impressions for the implant so that I could get the impressions for the crowns, and I'll just let the vlog do the talking for this one. So this is how that went. Dentist, and I'm still a little bit numb, a lot numb, so you're gonna have to excuse my voice. I hope you can understand me, but that was an ordeal. I thought, I was like, oh, I'm just going to get impressions. It's gonna be like I got impressions in June, just take the mold and be out in 10 minutes. No. So I have these, what are called healing abutments on them. They're like little metal studs that come just out from my gum line to kind of like make the implant, you know, where they're going to put the tooth part of it. And so I had 7 healing abutments put on in February. I have 10 implants, but he didn't have enough. So I had 7 healing abutments put on in February. Those had healed. They were like completely fine. Well, today, to do the impressions, they're called like the final impressions, they had to take out all those 7 healing abutments, which was fine. But then they had to screw these impression things they used to make the impressions abutment things in. They're like this big, so I couldn't even close my mouth all the way. And that, like, she started screwing it in, or he started screwing it in. I get confused because I had 3 different dentists working on me at one time at this point, because the guy dentist took him out, the girl screwed him in, and then I also had 3 implants, 2 on the bottom and 1 on up top up here that hadn't been exposed yet, because when I mean exposed, when you first put them in, they're like under your gum line and stitched, so it's like it's in the bone, but it's not, you know, in your oral cavity, if you will. And so there was 3 that hadn't been exposed yet because he didn't have the healing abutments for him in February. They weren't available. So they had to expose those, which is essentially cutting into your gum down to the bone where the implant is. So that's fun. So they had to expose 2 down here and 1 up here. And then they had to screw in all these impression abutment things. And when she started screwing those in is when I equated it to, if you like, it's not like a tooth nerve because it's not a tooth, it's metal. But it felt like if you had a fire ant moving around in your tooth. That's what it felt like when she started screwing those in. So they were going to do it without numbing, but I was like, so they did 3. They tried 3 without it. They were like, okay, we're just going to numb you. So they did that. And it still hurt a little bit, but it was so much better. It didn't feel like I had a fire ant in my mouth anymore. So they had to screw all 10 of those in, because I have 5 on bottom and 5 on top. So they had to screw all 10 of those impression things in. They had to take x-rays to make sure that they were completely locked into the implant, and then they did the impressions, which was fine. That's what I expected. And then they had to take all those impression abutments out and put 10 new healing abutments in. So not the ones I had in from February, but completely new ones. And so all the implants are like exposed now. None of them are buried under the gum line now. But it took 3 hours to do all this. So that was that. But after July, it was time to start working on finally making the crowns, the final stuff. Now, it wasn't as simple because I wasn't as simple of a case, because I am allergic to metals that they would normally use, like nickel and cobalt, so I couldn't have them. But we did, so it was a bit of a stalemate for a little bit, just a couple of months. This whole process kind of, it took a while. It took 2.5 years to complete, but, which is why I just can't stop smiling now that it's done, but it was worth it in the end. But so it took a little bit, and then October of 2019, I went in to get a, like a fit to see if the crown, like, they would fit. And so it was just made of like plastic type material. It wasn't porcelain or anything like that. So they had to just see if it would fit. And so they put it in, and she's like, okay, this fits perfectly. So we're gonna send these molds to the lab, and this is what your teeth will look like, but they're not gonna be plastic. So that was done in October. Then we fast forward to December of 2019, so just last month, and I had to do a allergy challenge on my arm because they couldn't make the screws I have are titanium, as well as the implant, and the outside of it is porcelain, and we knew I could use gold. So part of the frame that's underneath the porcelain is solid gold, but we didn't know if I could use zirconium. I'd never been tested for it, and so we were like, okay, we need to test and make sure the zirconium will be all right, because we don't want a whole repeat of the whole anaphylaxis thing. So back in December, I had a piece of zirconium that the dental office shipped to me, and I put it on my arm for 24 hours underneath the band-aid just to make sure no redness or hives or anything crazy happened. And thankfully it did not. There was no problem. So we knew then that, okay, gold and zirconium we can use to make the thing underneath. And I'm going to go ahead and insert a picture now of the what these look like with the gold and zirconium before they put the porcelain on them. So finally we come down to the last step in this process, and my camera says it's dying, so hopefully it's gonna live. But back on January 24th, I think, I got the things with the porcelain on them and complete, and that was pretty, it was a little bit painful. They had to unscrew all the healing abutments, took all the healing abutments out, and screwed the teeth down, and he had to screw it to like a certain pressure to make sure it wouldn't come loose. But so he screwed it down, and then they were done after 2.5 years, and I still can't believe that I'm at that stage now where I'm done. I'm still getting a little bit used to them, like seashells by the seashore kind of thing. I can't talk completely normal because I didn't have front teeth for 2.5 years. So I'm getting used to them, but I'm still smiling so much. And like I said, they function like normal teeth, they feel like normal teeth, and so once I learn to talk, and I do have a couple sores in my mouth just because there wasn't anything there before and now there is, so that's kind of healing up. But once those go away, I should be good as gold to hopefully for the rest of my life. So that is my dental implant journey from start to finish. It started with a bang, it ended with a good note, and I hope that this can be of help. If you guys are just starting out on this journey, I sincerely wish you guys the best of luck. If you guys are finishing this journey, congratulations. And if you clicked on this video out of simple curiosity, then hope you learned something. So that is it. That's my journey of dental implants, and I cannot believe I'm done. Like, it makes me want to cry to still think about the fact that I finally finished it. It's been a long, hard journey. There's been a lot of hurdles in the way. There's been little things that have popped up here and there, but it's done, and I have my smile restored. So thank you to the dentists that helped me with this. You guys are awesome, if you guys ever see this. And to my family and friends for supporting me through this long journey. And here's to new beginnings. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.